Meet Vector, part toy, part kitchen timer, and powered by artificial intelligence. It's the smarter, more mature version of Cosmo, Anki Robotics' toy for children. Vector is meant to be an always-on companion that wanders your countertop, mapping obstacles and listening for commands. It's the latest in a line of super cute robotic helpers, but it's arriving at an awkward time. Just last month, Mayfield Robotics, which makes the Curry home robot, announced it was pausing operations and refunding pre-order deposits. The maker of Jibo, a stationary home robot, has reportedly laid off the majority of its staff. Which makes you wonder, do people even want these things? Sweet little Vector here is about to find out. Think of Vector like a less creepy Amazon Alexa. You can ask it for the weather or get information like the distance between cities, if you're into that sort of thing.
158 miles.
Yes, the robot comes equipped with a camera, both so it can navigate and notice your face, but that also lets it project a personality.
He will, when he sees you, get excited that he sees you, and he'll do that proactively. So far, it's still the case that if a home assistant would do that, which feels like an appliance, it's weird if that's being done.
A big part of the charm is the eye animations, designed by former Pixar wizards. Weirdly, eye contact is really important when humans communicate with machines.
Hey Vector, if we don't do things like eye contact really well, how frequently does the robot make eye contact with a person, or how long does he keep that eye contact? Then something what feels like an alive character immediately feels not alive.
Where this gets tricky is when powerful nonverbal communication, like eye contact, starts sending the wrong signals. Namely, Anki has to be careful not to overpromise on Vector's abilities. If a machine seems intelligent in one way, like dexterity or mobility, folks start assuming it's more capable than it actually is, which gets even more complicated with verbal communication. The makers of Curry deliberately designed their robot to speak in beeps and boops, so people wouldn't overestimate what it can do. Vector, on the other hand, speaks English, because the whole point is for it to be your helpful home companion.
The distance is approximately 458 miles.
If you can only make bleeps and beeps and so forth, that might be cute, but then having the robot tell you, I don't know, about the weather or news or a message somebody left for you or so becomes impossible.
Yes, the voice is perhaps a bit over-the-top robotic and potentially grating.
What are the ingredients of margarita?
Get that.
And yes, Vector can screw up, like any machine.
Hey Vector,
But unlike Alexa,
let's do a fist bump.
it's got serious charm.
What character allows us to do is to have people change from, well, this is annoying that this robot made a mistake, to, oh, it's adorable that the robot made a mistake, as long as the major things are all functioning.
In testing, the charm appears to be working. If you pet the top of Vector's head, for instance, it coos and wiggles.
And we literally see in testing people sitting there for 45 minutes or an hour or longer while they watch a movie or so, the entire time just petting their robot.
But you might be wondering why now? Why are all of these advanced home robots suddenly vying to infiltrate the American home? It's a confluence of two factors: advanced processing and advanced AI. Vector's processing happens on board the robot, where in the past you had to do it on more powerful computers in the cloud. That lets it do things like run a highly efficient neural network to detect faces and navigate its environment all on its own. Processors are finally cheap enough to make a home robot feasible, or at least that's what Anki hopes. Vector will hit the market at $250. Jibo, by contrast, was nearly $1,000.
If your cell phone costs $900 and my robot costs $1,200, then the expectation is that this thing can do a lot more useful things than a cell phone. And finding that fine line between cost and functionality and character, I think, is a really big deal. I definitely think people are ready for a home robot. I think it just depends on what can it do and what do people expect from it.
For now, Vector can't do a whole lot, but Anki plans to add capabilities like a security camera feature after its October launch. Whether or not Vector can charm its way into homes across America is yet to be seen.
Same thing for that LaCroix.
Just be sure to mind your spoons.